All right, so tonight we are going to drink Wilderness Trail. So if you don't know anything about Wilderness Trail, it is a relatively new distillery here in Kentucky, actually in Danville, Kentucky, that's kind of got popular over the last 2 years. They went from producing, oh, I don't know, relatively small amount of barrels to now they're one of the, I think, top three as far as quantity. They are just exploding and doing a ton of great stuff. This is actually their high rye bourbon, and it is a store pick, so you can find their store picks pretty easily. And we've talked about this over and over on the channel. If you haven't picked up on it yet, store picks are a great way to support your local liquor stores. Also to find a store that picks barrels you like, and then like, okay, so I've never had a Wilderness Trail. Well, I'll just buy their store pick, see what the Wilderness Trail is, but support my store and everything like that, and know that your palate kind of matches their tasters, and it's a great way to do it. So this is from a really good local store called Westport Whiskey and Wine. They usually have 4 or 5 store picks. Anytime the guys are in town, we always hit up Westport because they also have a really good tasting bar that you can go to too. This is a cast strength, high rye Wilderness Trail from them that is 5 years and 7 months. And this is really the first high rye or the first bourbon from Wilderness Trail we've ever reviewed.
Yeah, so we did review a single barrel rye whiskey pick from Benny's. If you'll link that above.
I got you.
Extra work for TJ.
We like that.
I always love that. Great color on this. Medium copper. Good looking bourbon.
And I think Wilderness Trail's released some 6-year product now. That's the oldest that they've released. So this is
and that's their wheated mash bill, if I remember correct too. So
okay.
Yeah, so they've got their high rye, they got their bottled and bond, they got their rye, they got their wheated, their 6-year, and then their single barrels but their standard lineup is their wheated, the high rye, the rye, and then now the 6-year is readily available. I can always find it on the shelf. So for me, the nose is a little subdued. There's not a ton on there, but you definitely get the traditional bourbon notes, the caramel, the vanilla, and maybe a little bit of like pepper, spice notes kind of on the very back end of that nose.
It's funny you say subdued because I was actually just like clearing my nose there because I like took a sniff and like maybe I kind of need to clear my nose to get a little bit more of this, but getting that, it is kind of a little bit tamer on the notes are there, but they are tame.
Yeah, I get a rich caramel note, maybe some slight apple, pear, and then that's predominant.
Yeah, but then I'll say as soon as you take a sip, like it's bold and powerful at that point in time. You can tell it's cast strength, non-chill filtered because it's super oily, coats the mouth. You get the butterscotch popping out. And then it goes into a finish that is just peppery, herbal notes that you can tell that rye is kind of coming out, and it just lingers and lingers and lingers.
I'm glad you said kind of butterscotch on the palate because I was actually, as you were talking, just kind of sniffing the nose. And I think you get that butterscotch on the nose, especially once you identify it as that and you think about it. You take kind of a whiff of that, and that butterscotch is definitely there 100%. In a very pleasant way.
I think this finish is the high point for me. It transitions out of the palate pretty quick into this really nice peppery, spicy finish that even comes in waves. So it kind of recedes, and I was getting some caramel. It hits you again with some of the sweet caramel notes, and then it came back, and then it finishes and lingers with the pepper.
I 100% agree. The finish here is a strong point. I feel like the nose and the palate are good. Legitimately good, but that finish is wonderful.
So for those of you paying attention, what you might have saw Chuck doing is adding a little bit of water to the bourbon, which for all these cast strength stuff, I absolutely recommend you doing because it's going to open it up and change your flavor profile. Some bourbons actually get better with a little bit of water because it's going to bring some of those notes forward that you're missing out. Some of them, it kind of turns it into a dud because on the last Booker's, I added a little bit of water to that, and it just turned it into like pure peanut butter and hid all the other notes, which was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, and considering you added water to the bottle, that really...
I know. I thought that's how you did it. Made it look full again.
I think in this case it helped it. I mean, I've added maybe 5 or 6 drops. The fruit definitely comes forward more on the nose, and then the palate opens up nicely, and you get. I tasted this a little bit before, but you get a little bit of that char or that smoke from the barrel, and that kind of comes through more once it opens up.
All right, so let's add some numbers to this. So for me, the nose, I'm gonna go 3. Like it's pleasant, but there's just not a lot there. Like Brian said, I had to, this is not a good COVID check nose.
Maybe that makes it a good COVID test, because if you can smell this, then you know you're good.
Yeah.
No, I'm at a 3. I think it's. I mean, I appreciated it, but it's there's nothing that sets it apart.
Same place, 3 on the nose. It's nice, not special.
How about the palate?
I'll go first because I think I'm going to be the lone duck. So I'm going to go 3 again because I think it transitions quicker into the finish. And I'll hold off my finish rating, but yeah, I'm at a 3. I think that transitions quick. There's not a ton there. I like it, but it's not exceptional to me.
You are not the lone duck, actually, as much as I would like you to be. It's good, not exceptional, not great, very enjoyable, but I think it's just a strong 3.
I would actually be 3.5, but again, it's one of those where if you watch a ton of our videos, we hope you do, you would know that I like the sweet notes, and that's why I love bourbon. And this has all those. It is a very sweet butterscotch, burnt sugar bourbon. So those are all the notes that I really enjoy. And so it hits all those. So that's why I would give it a 3.5. On the finish, once again, I'm going to go 3.5. I thought it was a very good finish. Sticks around for a while. Part of that is because it's barrel strength. It's got a good pepper finish, and it has a little bit extra, especially with the amount of time it sits on your tongue. So that's why I'm going to go 3.5.
Yeah, I'm going to let Brian be the tiebreaker here. And this is odd for a bourbon to me to jump from a 3 to jump so significantly between the either nose to palate or palate to finish. I'm at a 4. I think this finish is delightful. It's long lasting. I like the pepper and that baking spice, but it also comes in waves. Like I said earlier when we were describing that finish, is that it's more than one note. Obviously some of that high proof kind of drives the finish, but I think there's still these other notes of caramel, and you get the sweet, and then also just like some toasted nuts at the end. So I'm at a 4.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Yeah, he do, but yeah, I'm actually with you. I think that's a 4. The multiple layers of the finish combined with a super nice long linger. Once again, you get to that pepper. And I think Charlie and I both appreciate this on the finish, where we like you to give us some oomph on that finish, but not go over the top, and give us some length on that, and we're going to be happy. We're 4.
So I'll let you guys go and kind of wrap it up. So are you going to hunt some Wilderness Trail? Are you going to just buy it if you see it, or is it just a bar? Just when you're at the bar, if they got it on there, you're going to get it, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was pretty pleased with my rye pickup from them. If you watch our last video, that was a surprise. I've tasted the 6-year wheated at a bar. I think a very good bourbon. I'm interested to see as they continue to come out with older whiskey. I think this one for me, I'm very happy with my glass tonight and the sample you sent. Probably at a buy, I guess. Certainly not a hunt, but I'm really intrigued at just what Wilderness Trail is doing, and excited to see things as they get out to maybe 10 years. This is going to be some really good stuff.
So I'll go next. I'm going to buy as well. If you're looking for something and you see that it's there, I wouldn't have regrets about picking this one up at all. Probably not going to hunt it. It could be, kind of a neat thing where, we like the other one as well. Um, if you have a couple friends, hey, I'll get this one, you get that one, type situation. But pick it up if you want, but definitely not hunting.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you guys. Like if you've got, you're going out and you're looking for a bottle and you want to support your local liquor store, this is you're not going to go wrong picking up this bottle. My one caveat I will say is if you have that liquor store that has done tons of store picks and you always really like their store pick and they mention they're going to do a Wilderness Trail store pick, I would be there for that release date to make sure you're guaranteed one of their picks. I think their single barrels, their store picks highlight what they do even better than their normal stuff. And it's definitely something that deserves to be on your shelf. They're doing some great stuff. And like Chuck said, I think when they get to a 10-year-old whiskey, if they decide that they're going to release 10-year-old product, it's just going to be absolutely amazing. And they are, like I said, they are putting more barrels up and in their rick house and aging than most other places are. I think the only people beating them out is like Heaven Hill and Barton and maybe Buffalo Trace in Kentucky right now, that they are competing on that scale with those guys. Just the vast numbers of stuff they're doing. And they do a lot of sourcing for other stuff. They are well known for their yeast strains. And helping other people get stuff up and running. So they are definitely a brand, a name to know. And if you haven't got a bottle, you should get a bottle, but be on the lookout, because if we are still doing this 5 years from now, I guarantee there's going to be some Wilderness Trail limited release that we're going to be talking about, saying it is without a doubt the best bourbon of the year.
Hot take.
Yep.
We'll see you
Boom.
back in 5 years to see if TJ's
See you in 5
prediction was
years.
correct.
Yep.
Mark it
Okay,
down.
so-
I'll put it into my calendar.
Chuck will be retired by then with broadcasting from some yacht in the middle of nowhere. Brian and I will be
That's not
poor
true.
as
Teaching
usual.
still.
Teaching.
That might be true.
Yep. So once again, thanks for watching. Please hit the subscribe button. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know a bottle that we should try that you're interested in. Like, that's what we like to do, is branch out, try something. We'll spend the money, give you the review, and then you can decide if you should also spend the money, because we just really enjoy that. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Stay neat.
Power of bourbon.